Mi A1 is the Android version of the Mi 5X, which was limited to the Chinese market. The phone offers the new stock Android experience, unlike the dozens of phones from the company coming with the MIUI experience. What does this mean to begin with? Some might not like the fact that the phone has taken away the MIUI interface, because even though it doesn't resemble the actual Android OS, there's a lot offered to enhance the user experience. On the other side, this was a match that people are looking forward to for a long time now. Xiaomi's hardware with a pure Android software experience is a match made to perfectly blend into the mid-range segment. Is the Mi A1 priced at Rs 14,999 a perfect phone that you are looking for? Let's find out in this review. Easily, Xiaomi has one of the best phones till date in this price range when it comes to the build quality and the look of the phone. The Mi A1 has a design that can again be called an inspired one to a bunch of phones in the market already. But as was the point when we talked about the OnePlus 5, the design of the phone shouldn't really matter as long as they offer the comfort and the feel that you wanted. The phone doesn't boast any wide display, bezel-less properties, or even a very slim profile. But what is given here with the Mi A1 is a classy and neat design, with the metal body having the antenna bands towards the top and the bottom on the back of the device. And this is the first Xiaomi phone in India to have a dual lens camera setup on the back. And there's that Android One branding given to revive the plans that Google had a couple of years ago but failed to execute it well. What's constant on most of the Xiaomi phones, irrespective of their price, is the presence of that IR blaster to offer the quick remote functionality, and that is on the top of the phone. The bottom of the device has a USB Type-C port, the solo speaker grill, the 3.5mm headset jack just beside to the microphone. The front of the device houses a 5.5-inch Full HD display, and above that is a set of sensors and the camera just beside to the earpiece grill. And the navigation buttons below the display are backlit, but they are not interchangeable. As we talk about the hardware, the fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone is well regressed and it works well in quick recognition and unlocking the device. Now the display. Xiaomi's flagship smartphones with a sunlight display have been getting all the accolades, but the mid-range phones have rarely got the same because of the fierce competition where some other phones have a better display. Here the Xiaomi Mi A1 has a Full HD display with a Gorilla Glass 3 protection. The display quality is actually good with a good color output and the content being readable in most of the conditions. The protection on the top can help only in keeping the scratches away, and there's a 2.5D curve on the sides giving it a good look to continue with the curves on the back of the device. Android One is something new, not just for Xiaomi but also for many users who haven't ever heard of it. The campaign had begun with a bunch of budget phones and it never really picked up, and the whole purpose of the offering of smooth experience and timely updates got lost due to the poor response and choice of brands to partner with. Google finally shook hands with Xiaomi, and this could be the best thing to happen with both the companies, though Google might benefit a little more to get the best hardware in the market to run its software. MIUI is good, but with it, there was always those doubts of software updates as the MIUI version saw the change but the Android version stayed the same. With stock Android, you don't have to worry about that because the phone is going to see at least a couple of major updates, and by the end of this year, even the Android Oreo update will be on board. The interface is simple, easy to use, and there's no bloatware except for a couple of essential apps from Xiaomi. The other difference is that the camera app here is given by Xiaomi because it has to have that depth sensing mode to take advantage of the dual lens camera. There's a couple of gesture features available, including the double press of power button to launch the camera app or swipe down the fingerprint sensor to drag the notification panel down. Talking about the performance, the Mi A1 is an absolute smooth device with the interface being very responsive and all the extremely heavy tasks like gaming or the camera usage are handled very well, thanks to the Snapdragon 625 chipset that is supported by 4GB of RAM. There's a layer of pyrolytic graphite sheet placed to keep the phone a little cooler than what it is while gaming or using 4G and browsing the web. And that somehow works here because in comparison to that, the Moto G5 Plus was a bit heater all the time with the same functions being done on both the phones. The camera combination is one of the highlights of the phone, thanks to that being the first from the company to have a dual lens setup in India, where you find two 12-megapixel cameras, one with f2.2 and the other with f2.6 aperture. There has been a good number of smartphones in the recent time to have this setup, but they offer their own set of features, and in this case, while one camera does the regular job of capturing wide-angle shots, the other one helps in 2x optical zoom, and when both of them work together, you would see the portrait mode helping in blurring the background, which in this case has done a very fine job when compared to the others in this price range. If you are talking about the comparison again, the two phones Moto G5 Plus and the Lenovo K8 Note are nowhere close to the Mi A1 for the portrait captures, but the Honor 6X does a similar job. But an area where we expected a little better was the low light captures, where a lot of noise is noticed since the aperture is not that large and the two cameras try to bring in more light, resulting in more noise even though some good details are retained. Also, with the video recording, the shakes were very much noticed, even though the camera was quick enough to lock focus while the video is being recorded. The front-facing camera doesn't have a lot to talk about. A standard 5MP camera, though the app has beauty mode and the filters if you wanted to do some artificial edits. And although 8080p videos can be captured with the phone with the front camera, they too seem to be too shaky unless you mount that phone on a tripod to take a video. A 3080 mAh battery might seem quite less these days when compared to the company's own Redmi 4 and Redmi Note 4 smartphones, but Xiaomi has managed to keep things well with it, as the phone could last well a day with ease and have an average of over 4 hours of screen on time regularly. And this was while I used the Mi A1 as a primary phone with about 60 to 80 apps installed and several of them running in the background. And most of the time it was again two SIM cards present in the device, one the Airtel and the other was the Jio SIM. The battery life is not bad at all, but at the same time it is only 5V2A charger that is given in the box, and we were told that it's the fastest charging that is supported here. So it's about 120 minutes that is taken to charge the device fully, and we are talking about only a 3080 mAh battery and not a 4000 mAh battery. The Xiaomi Mi A1 is a dual SIM smartphone, and the second SIM slot can either have a SIM or a microSD card, and there's a proper support to VoLTE. The speaker in the bottom is loud enough and there's no distortion noticed on the different genre of music that we played. The earpiece quality is good and the call quality can be rated excellent. The signal strength is not the best because in comparison to this, the Mi Max 2 having the SIM of the same network just beside to it could pull in a better network. Overall, the Xiaomi Mi A1 is a great phone. To simply put, this amalgamation of software from Google and the hardware from Xiaomi is the best one to have happened this year, and the phone can easily be the table topper for all the ratings, the sales, and for the experience offered to the users. Liking the stock Android or MIUI is all dependent on the user, and if you are someone who still wanted to see that flashy and feature-filled MIUI and don't care about the updates, there is Mi 5X for you, but that isn't available in the Indian market. And in contention, there are Lenovo K8 Note, the Moto G5 Plus, and the Nokia 6, all of them with the stock Android. So you know what we are heading towards. The stock Android is the big deal. As usual is the case, the availability could be an issue, but that is for a while, and if you